because I came down here and sure enough, it's a really hard appointment at 8:30. It's a live unload. It's not a drop and hook. And I thought we were about to have some drama. I thought this guy was going to try and park in between me and this dumb fuck right here to the left of me, who's parked in fucking sideways. This stupid jackass is taking up 2 parking spots. I don't know how you could park so bad in a spot. But yeah, he's taking up 2 damn spots. And there's just a lot of trucks coming in here. I have a bad feeling. I'm really thinking I should move over. There's a spot to the right of me open. And I'm thinking I should probably move over to that spot. But I'm not going to. I don't feel like it. I'm just hoping that I don't get some dumbass try to park next to me. Because what a lot of bad drivers do is they only look in their side mirror. They don't reference their blind side mirror or their passenger side mirror. And if somebody just backs in and lines themselves up with this Captain Dumbfuck over here, then they're going to hit me. Because this guy is over in that lane, in that parking spot. And if somebody just uses their side mirror to line up against this guy, then they're going to hit me. I don't know. I don't really feel like changing spots, but it's little things like that help you avoid accidents. If this were at a truck stop, yeah, I would change spots. But with this being at a receiver, if somebody hits me, they can't like do a hit and run. At a truck stop, if they hit you, they'll just leave. They'll go to another truck stop. But the people parking here have deliveries here. They can't just leave. I will know who the person is that hits me. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is with this idiot over here to the left of me. But yeah, there's trucks pulling in here like crazy. I think this guy might actually be, I don't know what he's trying to do. He picked I think he was gonna try to do a U-turn right there, but he started doing it real late. There's plenty of room just right down there. I think he's doing a U-turn in the wrong direction because he's gonna want to set up on this side. So if he would have done a U-turn in the other direction, it would have brought his trailer, and tractor back over on this side. But he's gonna be able to set up. He'll be able to make something work. But yeah, this place is lively. The people at the guard shack are in there playing video games on their laptops. They're playing, one of them was playing Destiny. I didn't see what the other one was playing. That guy is hauling ass. That's so stupid to be driving that fast. There's a lot of bad drivers out here. They're not just bad drivers in the four-wheelers, but they're just bad drivers everywhere. So what ended up happening with the mechanic? Well, perfect. They had the airbag in stock. They didn't have to go to a parts place to get an airbag. They had one in stock. And sorry, I started thinking about what time to get up and stuff like that. They had it in stock, and it ended up fixing the issue. I didn't think it was going to fix the issue because my secondary air pressure was just flat on 0. Oh shit, here comes Swift. Okay, they're not pulling in here. Never mind. I was like, there we go. There's that person who's going to get into this spot and only look at their side mirror. Who knows? Swift might still be circling back in here. Maybe they just missed their turn. Oh, here comes another truck. Yep, he's coming in here. Man, this place is busy. So I did not use personal conveyance to drive over here. I screwed up whenever I was pulling out of the shop. I forgot to put myself in a personal conveyance, and the like 100 feet that I drove out of the shop to my trailer, it put me into drive and started my day. So I just went ahead and stayed in driving and drove over here, and got parked, and now I'm off duty. So 11 p.m. 10 hours will be 9 a.m. So, yeah, I'll hopefully they get me unloaded quick. We'll see. I keep seeing people walk over in that direction. There was somebody walking back from that direction a minute ago. I'm guessing there's a bathroom over there. I guess if I have to use the bathroom, I'll go walk over in that direction. That would, you don't really want to get caught at a shipper or receiver peeing in their parking lot. All these trucks have their own built-in restrooms. What? Huh. Okay. Is that the shipping and receiving? I don't know what the hell. I guess that's where the bathroom's at. But yeah, so like I said in my last video, I was kind of torn on whether or not I wanted to be able to deliver this load early or not. Like, it was just going to like piss me off so much if I got over here and I found out that I could have delivered this Saturday when I got here to Indianapolis. But at the same time, I would have been happy to deliver it early and keep rolling. So I'd have been kind of torn emotionally on that. But anyway, I got here, and no, they're not going to take me early. They said that it's not a drop and hook. They said it's a live unload, and they looked it up for me, and they said it's a live unload at 8:30 a.m. So I have to sit here and wait until 8:30 for my appointment. I don't know if they're going to let me in early at all, because like there's a ton of trucks staging here already. It sucks. And this puts me in a position where I can't start my day tomorrow until 9 a.m. because I accidentally started my day. I didn't use personal conveyance to drive over here. I accidentally started my day to drive over here, which means that if they are able to get to me early, I'm not going to be able to get out of here until 9 a.m. I can't start driving until 9 a.m. Well, technically, you know what? Let me move myself over to sleeper berth. Because technically, I can use the 8-2 split to get going 2 hours early. Yeah, so yeah, I can get rolling at 7 a.m. So I'm gonna go over there and check in about 7 a.m. I think that's probably when this place opens up. I think that's when the dock workers start working, is around 7 a.m. And I'm gonna go in there and see if I don't know if I need to go over to security or if there's shipping and receiving. These guys were so fixated on playing their damn video games that they didn't really want to talk to me at all. I should have asked them where I check in the morning and what time I check in. But you get a smart-ass response when somebody's like doing something else and they don't want to deal with you at a shipper and receiver. So I didn't really want to piss them off and ask more questions because I walked up there and I was like, "Hey, I've got an 8:30 a.m. appointment. I was just checking to see if I could deliver early." And they said, "Nope, park up against the fence and come back at 8:30, or wait till 8:30 or something like that." And I was like, "Okay." I started walking back to my truck, and I was like, "Okay, thanks." Started walking back to my truck, and I thought, you know what? Maybe they don't like, because I saw them playing video games. They weren't really paying attention to anything. They just wanted me to go away. So I walked back over there and I told them, "Does it make a difference if it's a drop and hook? Because I have it listed as a drop." And they said, "What's your 202 number?" And I didn't have it on my paperwork that I had with me, so I had to go grab my phone to get it off of my my trip plan. And I gave it to them. They looked it up and they said, "Nope, it's a live unload at 8:30. Come back at 8:30. Like, all right. So, fun. But they're in there trying to get their game on, and looks like they're constantly being interrupted. Which, I'm all for, gaming at work as long as you're able to do your primary job. Which they did what I asked them to do. They were short with me, but they weren't rude or anything. So either seems like a good gig. But I'm really glad that the airbag fixed all of my air issues. Because I've had air issues since I got this truck, and I've actually tried to put it into the shop. Well, I've tried to get them to look at it at the terminal multiple times. I tried to get them. I actually was my air was bouncing so much. Like whenever I was going down the road, not touching the brakes or anything, just driving down the road and going over bumps, my air pressure was dropping by like 5 to 10 psi, and it was dipping below 100 psi, and it was very concerning. So I was quite certain that one of my airbags was not properly sealed, and I wanted to take it into a terminal and get them to look at it. And I asked my driver manager to route me to a terminal, and she said, "Yeah, sure, I'll get you routed to a terminal." And she gave me a load, and it wasn't going anywhere near a terminal, and I was like, "Well, what terminal am I going to?" And she said, "Oh, I'll get you on the next load." I couldn't find one going to a terminal on this load. And I was like, "All right." And then she forgot. So that's just the way she is. It requires constant micromanagement on my part to get her to do her job. It's really fucking annoying, and I've given up on it. I'm not messaging her anymore. I'm not gonna verify load times or anything. I'm just gonna get there whenever the fuck I get there from now on. I got like 2 months of this dumb shit to deal with before I can potentially become a lease driver, which I don't know if I'm gonna do it. But there's I don't know. I'm tired of micromanaging the driver managers and the planners. They're really bad at their jobs. Maybe they're overworked. Maybe there's a good excuse for why they suck at their jobs. I mean, it doesn't change the fact that they're bad at their jobs. That's a fact. But there may be a legitimate reason, a good reason why they're bad at their jobs. But I had tons of air issues that I've had since I've been in this truck. And I've been in this truck a little over a month. You hear that? That's the air slowly releasing out. Airbags are slowly going to drain. This thing was fully draining the airbags within a few minutes. And by the time I got it into the shop, it was fully draining the airbags within a few seconds. As soon as I shut off the truck at the in the shop, this thing just settled down. I mean, the airbags drained in under a minute. So if I turn off the truck and it sets for like 1 or 2 minutes, whenever I turn it back on, it's going to start from zero air pressure. The tanks are going to completely drain. And that was because of that leak, that bad seal on one of the airbags. It was my back right side airbag, or passenger side rear airbag on the drives. And it had a massive leak. What was really frustrating about it is that whenever I would turn the truck on and try to drive off, I would have to sit there building air pressure for like 5 minutes before the truck would move. If I would try to leave before it fully built up air pressure, the brakes would still be engaged and the truck would just die. Even at over 100 psi, like I had to wait for the airbags to inflate up and everything. So it was very frustrating. I've had whenever I picked this load up, the guy that was the forklift driver that loaded the trailer for me, he came out to let me know it was loaded and told me to pull off from the dock so that he could seal it. And he had to sit there and wait for like 5 minutes for me. It was 5 to 10 minutes. It was a really long time. I remember after about 3 or 4 minutes, I had over 100 psi in both primary and secondary, but I still hadn't hit the governor yet. And I knew the way it was acting that if I tried to go before I hit the governor, that there was a really good chance that it would just die. Like the brakes would still be engaged and it would just die. But I tried anyway, and it did. It just died on me. And so I started it back up, started revving the engine up again. I told him, I'd already told him, I apologize. I got to build up air pressure. And then, once it finally built up and I pulled out and got back there and was sealing the trailer with him, I told him, I said, I'm sorry, man. It takes a while for this thing to build air pressure. I said, I tried to pull away. Let me check something. Nope. I just noticed that guy had his tandems to the rear. Where in the hell is he going? The sign at the guard shack says that you have to have your tandem slid to the rear before you go into the facility, but they weren't really paying attention to shit. And I don't like backing with my tandems to the rear. Anyway, let me finish what I was saying. But I told the guy at the, that I try to build air pressure. It takes a while. I said, I tried to take off a little bit early. I thought I might have had enough air pressure, but I didn't, and it died on me. And he said, yeah, I noticed. So, yeah, I'm real, man, it was nice. The drive over here was only like 19 miles, but everything about the truck feels a lot better now. There's so many things that rely on air pressure in this truck. Everything feels a lot better now. I think even the gear, the automatic shift, the gear shifting on this, I think even that uses air pressure. I could be wrong on that, but I didn't notice a big change in the shifting of the truck. But I did have issues at the beginning of the day when I was low air pressure with it going in gear. So maybe that'll get cleared up with this. But back to what I was saying about the tandems. I'm going to slide the tandems whenever I dock, but Like, I don't have a problem sliding the tandems, but I don't like backing with my tandems all the way to the rear. I know a lot of people do like backing with their tandems all the way to the rear, but I don't. It's a give and take. If you have your tandems all the way to the rear, you don't have to worry very much about your trailer swing. And what I mean by trailer swing is that any amount of your trailer that is past your trailer tandems will swing dramatically whenever you're pivoting the trailer, and you have to account for it. You can easily hit something on your blind side whenever you're backing with your tandems forward. You basically have to be straight into wherever you're going by the time you line up to it. You have to be very aware of your swing at the rear of your trailer with your tandems forward. With your tandems all the way to the rear, you have almost no swing at the back of your trailer because there's only like a foot of trailer past your tandems. But the bad thing about it is the further back your tires are, the longer it takes to move the trailer. The trailer becomes a lot less maneuverable. So it's not as easy to get it in and out of spots. I really like the tandems way forward. It allows me to maneuver the trailer a lot easier. But I'm different from a lot of other people. There are people like the trainer that I had, and I hate using the term trainer because he was a terrible trainer. He would drive around he would drive from one location to another with his tandems all the way to the rear. And it was really frustrating for me because I wanted to move the tandems back. It's not that big of a deal to slide the tandems, but he wouldn't let me. Like, we would pick up at a Georgia Pacific plant, and we were going to be delivering to a Georgia Pacific plant. And Georgia Pacific, at all of their locations, requires tandems to be to the rear whenever you drop a trailer or you back a trailer to a dock or anything. So he picked up a trailer that had the tandems all the way to the rear, and he was going to be delivering it to a location where the tandems needed to be to the rear. So he just didn't want to bother moving the tandems because the tandems had to be all the way to the rear anyway. And he was hauling really light product, like 11,000 pounds. So it didn't really matter. The tandem location didn't matter weight-wise. But, it made it impossible, actually. It was actually impossible to make some turns without going over the curb with the tandems that far back. Because it just requires so much more room to maneuver with the tandems that far back. I really hated I hate driving around on interstates or city streets or highways, anywhere. I don't even really like driving around in like a shipper receiver yard like this with the tandems all the way to the rear. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I can make it work. But once I leave a shipper receiver, I cannot stand to have the tandems all the way to the rear. I don't care what my weight is or how far I'm driving. You never know what you're going to encounter on the road, and it really limits your maneuverability to have them all the way to the rear. But I can't, there were multiple times, because he was on a dedicated account, and we would go between Georgia Pacific places, and anytime we were going from one Georgia Pacific place to another one, he would always want me to keep the tandems to the rear. And so I drove a lot with the tandems to the rear. I've never done that before in trucking until I was riding with him. And I went up over curbs. I couldn't help it. I button hooked as much as I could, and I did absolutely everything that I could, and there were just curbs that I could not avoid because the tandems were to the rear. Anyway, enough about that. I think I'm going to hop in bed and take a nap. And I'll probably get up at 7 a.m. and go and try and check in at 7 a.m. I'll probably set my alarm for like 6:50, and I'll head over there at 7 a.m. and see if they'll check me in and give me a dock door. It looks like they probably have like plenty of dock doors, so it doesn't look like this is the kind of place where I'm gonna have to wait for somebody to get unloaded before I can. I wonder what this guy's doing. He was just parked a little ways down from me, and I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's looking for a quieter parking spot. There are some people, like, going back to my trainer again, and again, I hate using the term. He was an incredibly light sleeper, insanely light sleeper. He hated truck stops. There was, okay, I was gonna say that there were multiple times. Okay, there was only one time that I can remember with certainty where he almost got into a fight with somebody over noise while he was trying to sleep. And I snore, not really bad, but I snore a little bit. Almost everybody snores. Like, he snored worse than I do. And I don't think he knew that, but he always complained about my snoring. And he would wear his headset to sleep playing music to try to drown out my snoring. Looks like he's backing up to a trailer over there. And he was just a drama queen about it. But there was one night whenever we were parked at a receiver, they would not take us early, and he was pissed off because they wouldn't take us early. But we went ahead and parked in their parking lot overnight, and there was somebody else that pulled in and parked next to us, and they they didn't park right alongside of us. They parked to where their engine was lined up with our sleeper. It didn't bother me at all. But he lost his fucking mind. He got out and was like yelling at the guy and making hand gestures and stuff. And the guy I don't think he knew like what was going on. Like, why was this guy being such an, why is he freaking out? So the guy like pulled up a little bit. And then Miguel, my trainer, got out, and Miguel thought the guy was leaving. He thought he ran him off, but all he did was pull up a little bit, like 50 feet, and stop and park again. So Miguel got out and started walking towards his truck, and the guy started pulling forward again, and Miguel like walked back to the truck, and then the guy parked again. He was like, okay, well, that settled it. He just wanted me to be further away from him. And when the guy parked again, Miguel got back out and started walking towards his truck again. He ran the guy completely out of the car lot, or out of the receiver's parking lot. And he went and parked along the road. And he was like fucking crazy. He had a really, really, really bad temper. He had major anger management issue. I was always walking on eggshells with him. But he flipped out on a lot of people, mainly shippers and receivers. So Mill Creek is going to be looking for a spot. Hopefully he doesn't try to get in between me and DM Bowman over here out of Williamsport, Maryland. This dumbass just kind of winged it in here and took up 2 spots. That's about it. I think I'm going to throw on some DirecTV and try to get a nap before in the morning, because I'm going to have a really, really, really long day tomorrow. Yeah, I think this guy might be trying to get into this spot right next to me. And I don't think he did a good job of looking at the spot before he tried backing into it. Let's see. Nope. Nope, he's not going for that spot. He's going to try. There's still like several spots over there, further over there. Now, the reason I didn't want to get one of those spots over there is because that's where all the traffic's going to be. That's where the headlights are going to be. That's it's going to be a lot more disruptions trying to sleep over there. But you're, 50 feet closer to the guard shack. There's a little less room to walk, I guess. But yeah, I'm just gonna be sitting and chilling here for the night. And I don't even know what's going on with that load that they gave me. That's a team load. I'm not gonna say anything about it. I'm just gonna pick it up when I can. I'm gonna deliver it when I can, and hopefully the receiver doesn't bitch and complain, because if the pickup and delivery times are accurate, then they're paying for a team truck, which I'm pretty sure a team truck costs extra to move freight. It costs extra to expedite a load. And it looks like USA assigned me, a solo driver, a team load. And I hope that there's not going to be any drama when I get to the receiver like 10 hours late, because there's no way in hell I can deliver at the appointment time. Only a team could deliver at the appointment time. So I'm delivering here at 8:30 in the morning. I have to be about 80 miles away from here for a pickup appointment at 11 a.m., which I don't even know if I'm going to be able to make my pickup appointment on time. These people would have to get me unloaded really quick. If they take their full 3 hours, they have a 3-hour window to unload me. If they do not start unloading me until 8:30 and they take their full 3 hours, I might not be out of here until 11:30, and I have a pickup at 11 a.m. 2 to 3 hours from here. Well, about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I don't know exactly how many miles it is. I know they're only paying me for 75 miles, but I don't know exactly how many miles it is. It might be like 90 or more. But yeah, I'm going to try to get unloaded as early as possible, and I'll probably do an 8-2 split. And then I will, once I get over there and I get loaded, I doubt that I'm gonna be leaving before noon or 1 o'clock. And I'll just get it to Ada, Oklahoma as quickly as I can. And then I'll deal with the drama when I get there. And hopefully I get another load fairly quickly and I don't end up sitting around a lot. I think it was a huge slap in the face that they gave me a load that I basically sat 2 days on right after I talked to them about having me set for so much. But yeah, I'm really on a positive note, I'm really excited about that truck I was talking about in my last video. That thing seems really nice. I would still like to get a better deal than $39,900 on it. And the other thing is, I looked at that particular dealership's site, and they have like 3 or 4 trucks that are very, very, very similarly spec'd. They're really high-end, like owner-operator spec. So I'm guessing that there's some small trucking company that that they just upgraded several of their trucks. These trucks may have been setting for sale for 6 months, who knows. But at some point in the recent past, it looks like some small carrier upgraded several of their trucks, and this place is trying to sell their old trucks, because these are not anything a mega carrier would spec out. These things are really custom, and they're very high end with almost every premium option feature you could imagine. And the 39.9 one was the most expensive one, and I think the reason it was the most expensive is because it was the lowest miles. I think it was 425,000, but almost all of them were under 500,000, I think. But there was only about a 2,000 or 3,000 difference between all of them. They were all within like $36,000 and $40,000. So it's not like there's just one of them. There are several of them at this same location, and it's in Bolingbrook, Illinois, or Indiana. I can't remember. I think it was in Illinois, Bolingbrook, Illinois. Anything That Moves or something like that was the name of the company. They didn't have a whole lot of tractor trailers for sale, or tractors for sale, semi-trucks. They only had like 5 or 6 total, and 3 to 4 of them were basically out of this group of trucks that were all identically spec'd. Now, some information that they didn't have on there that could be a deal breaker is they didn't have the gear ratio listed. There were a couple of things. I can't remember what else was not listed. Oh, axle weights were not listed. I don't plan on doing any kind of heavy haul or anything, but I would really prefer a steer axle that was rated at 12.5 or higher. Most steer axles are rated at 12,000 pounds. I really don't want to be restricted to 12,000, even though that's the norm, and that's what most shippers are going to load the trailer as. But I want to have a little bit of wiggle room on everything. I would like the drive axles to be rated over 34,000 pounds. Most drive axles are rated for over 34. They're rated for like a minimum of 38. I don't think I've seen any drive axles on truck paper that were rated at like 34,000 pounds. They're almost all like 38, 40. But it's the steer axles where a lot of the low-end spec trucks, the steer axles are rated for 12,000. I would really like to get one that was rated at 12.5 or higher. But that's not like a deal breaker for me. The gear ratio could be a deal breaker. But given that these trucks are pretty high horsepower, I highly doubt that they spec them out with a really low gear ratio. I just hope it's not a really high gear ratio. I suspect it's probably going to be a 3.08. It's probably going to be in my range. My range is like 264 to 3.2. That's what I think. That's what I think I'm going to want. I was just sitting here thinking about the 8.2 split, and I remembered that the 8 on the 8.2 split does not have to be sleeper berth. I think the 2 does have to be sleeper berth. It cannot be off duty. Last I heard. But the 8 can be a mixture. It can be off duty or sleeper. It doesn't matter, or both. But I think the 2 has to be sleeper berth. So if I do the 8.2 split, I'm going to have to remember that whenever I do the 2, it has to be in the sleeper. But yeah, hopefully these guys get me in and out early, and I get rolling. I better hit the sack because I'm gonna have a really long day tomorrow. But I'm gonna have a 2-hour nap at some point, but it's still gonna be a really long day. So anyway, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.